a long time, which is customized to a large degree, which scares the hell out of me if I want to bring all of that to S/4HANA, and I'm even having problems explaining the business case, how to do that. Where would you start? Over to you, Pedro.
Thank you so much, Hans, and that's a great question. I think the words you used, the lean and clean SAP instance, might not be a reality for everyone in this webinar. There's different levels of journeys, of course, with SAP, and I've been fortunate to see companies with these joint journeys for more than 10 years. So the enterprise fit and the roles that OutSystems plays, I think they're very important. And today I want to talk about three. Before I hand over to Richard for you to see it in action, we're going to show you in action how this works. The first use case, like Hans mentioned, is how can we try to choose the right platform for the right needs. And the anecdotal comment that ABAP has 38 years of existence and perhaps hasn't evolved at the same rhythm as every other technology has, is something we in technology have to deal with. The fast pace of technologies evolving. And so if we can find a role to bulletproof and the investment for the future by choosing a platform that can keep up with the evolving needs of the technology, why not consider it? So I'll talk about replatform. We heard a bit from Chris talking about orchestration and connecting SAP and non-SAP systems, and so we'll talk about that too, as well as building some custom applications, processes on top of it. Now, where to start? And if we go a bit deeper on the replatforming, the word here, in my view, is could we have a layer that is built to change, that tightly integrates with SAP and allows us to have a lower total cost of ownership, less maintenance costs, faster time to market on that, still leveraging all the capability and the power of the ERP and the additional modules that SAP has, of course, acquired over the years and their enterprise product base. So normally what we see is organizations with an intent, with a driver direction to keep their competitive differentiators, in finding unique business processes that might be a differentiation for themselves, looking for alternatives on top of SAP. There's customers who try to reduce the amount of customization on the amount of ZBAPs and other specific developments on top of it by, again, putting them in a specific layer. And of course, if there is needs to reuse any modules that already exist, that's the best way. So we heard from Chris the replatforming example of personas. SAP has a number of UI layers. Some of them became outdated over the years. There's many organizations with many custom processes and customizations on top of it. If there is a migration for SAP for HANA in the near future, could we have a more effective way of improving that user experience and keeping the core? So that's the first type of positioning. The second type of use case we see in most organizations is what also Hans mentioned around connecting and gluing different systems. And so OutSystems comes with those 2,000 plus connectors, consumes all data services, also BAPIs and ZBAPIs connections, depending on what we're leveraging. You can leverage the SAP security model through the old data services that are exposed from SAP in the new versions. And so we already have a very tight connection with SAP. At the same time, we can also integrate with other systems or complement, tools like MuleSoft or other integration tools that the large enterprise organizations might have.
Maybe that is a really important part. Just sorry to interrupt you, but this is really important part, which we would like to take offline for those of you that want to, right? So whether it's TIBCO or Boomi, there's different solutions to do this, and these are tailored to each of you. Maybe it's important to mention that as well, right?
Absolutely. It's a case-by-case basis. In the case of GPT, there's a digital business platform there that has a number of other APIs and API broker. different organizations have different needs. The flexibility of OutSystems is indeed that adaptability and orchestration that it can bring on top of it. And perhaps the last use case that we see in the enterprise fit is the building of those custom systems, and perhaps in a mobility scenario, the need to have offline, and in a, if you are, for example, in a store and you need to raise a purchase order, having a unified way of doing that without jumping between many SAP systems. And that was what Chris was alluding to before with the example of iBuy. And so the creation of custom software, just because you can doesn't mean you should. No, obviously we want to leverage as much as possible from the package that you already have. Normally the order is you have the package, you want to reuse components, but if you can't find something unique for your specific use case, build with it. And building with OutSystems brings a number of advantages because of the speed, the skills reduction that you need. You can do basically more with less. It's a platform that is all geared for 10 times productivity. That's the thing that OutSystems has been doing for 20 years that very few others have in the market, is always trying to bring 10 times productivity to developers. And when you combine that with the ability to connect SAP and Anaplan, SuccessFactors, many other tools, with the pixel perfect capability of building apps, you start to build a layer of custom software application on top of SAP with OutSystems that allows organizations to react very fast to their business demands and business needs. That's all I wanted to share, Hans, and I would like us now to hear from Richard, I think, to see it actually in practice.
Yes, the taste of the pudding. Richard, the floor is yours. Show us the goods.